Hi everyone, welcome to my show, From Stuck to Unstoppable, how divorce can be the catalyst for the most extraordinary chapter in your life. Learn how 21 mindset experts can help you shift, thrive, and create the life of your dreams. Now, this is not limited only to women who are experiencing divorce or separation. This is for any woman who is finding themselves in a transition in their life, whether it be an empty nesting or career shift or navigating parts of their career that they hadn't anticipated, relationships. Gosh, there's a myriad of things that one could be in transition with. It could simply be that you've woken up one morning and realized that this is not exactly the life that you had in mind. That's very real, and I feel like that's happening a lot these days. So this show and summit is for you. I have curated a handful of wonderful mindset specialists, casting a wide net of expertise from health, wealth, marriage, divorce, relationships, financial, grief, all sorts of things that will help you navigate your way into living the best version of yourself in your life. So stay tuned as we trickle out 21 experts over the next 21 days to help inspire and empower and help you realize that everything you need is exactly inside of you where it's always been. So join me on this little adventure, and I look forward to seeing you. Thanks so much. Welcome back to my show, From Stuck to Unstoppable. I'm your host, Christina Price, and with me today is Bree Schumacher, who is the founder of Somewhere Sunny. And she has curated stirring transformational group trips for women in midlife. And she has such an incredible story of what brought her to this point. And so I'm going to turn the floor over to her and let her fill you in on who she is and how she has started this amazing women really reconnect with who they truly are, who they've forgotten they were, and how to rekindle the whole and bring them into this amazing transformational space. So I'm going to turn it over to Bree and let her tell her story.
Great, thanks. Happy to be here and to tell my story. And I never could have imagined I would be telling this story because I owned Spanish schools for kids for 19 years. Woke up every single day excited for my job. I loved it so much. And then we moved from Wisconsin to South Carolina in the middle of COVID. And I had over 100 employees up in Wisconsin and Minnesota. And I just realized, even though I'd worked from home all those years, there was no way I could do justice to my team. And so I had to make the heartbreaking decision to sell my business. And for the first 6 months, I was having fun. I was going on field trips. I was loving living down here. And then all of a sudden, I found myself literally in a Lowe's parking lot, just and it's like, oh my gosh, I had all these plants in the back of my trunk. Like this is new hobby, I'm buying all these plants. And I remember I called, was like, I can't describe it. I feel so bad. And he said, I guess I don't get it. You have a really good life. And the truth is I did have a really good life. And I started talking to other women and telling this story. They had not moved across the country. They had not sold business. And yet they were like, yes, and yes, I feel the same. Like my life is good, but there's something missing. Like my life is busy, it's full, but it's not fulfilling. And so I started taking steps to be like, what am I going to do in this next chapter to combine all the things I love? And my business was 99% women employees, with my entire team being women. In fact, the name of my business was Futura, which is the future word for Spanish if you turned it to feminine. So I can travel and my love of working with women. And I took an experiment and launched my first trip to Guatemala with a group of women in midlife.
Uh-huh. And they didn't
Yep.
know each other. You just hand selected, just put it out there and had lots of women join who had never met each other.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I had a partnership down in Guatemala that I had for many years since 2005, Spanish school. So I
Uh-huh.
had taken people down there before. But running a trip with a group of women is so different. And yeah, I just put it out like on my Facebook page,
Uh-huh.
basically.
Right.
And yeah, women came as strangers. And at the end of the week, when I saw women literally in tears,
Mhm.
I just thought I'm onto something. And throughout the week where we would come and meet for, and the women would be like to each other, "Oh my gosh, I love your earrings. Oh, you're this."
Right.
And people would say, "Gosh, nobody has made me feel like I can't remember the last time anyone made me feel like this." It was like all of a sudden we're feeling so seen.
Seen. Yeah.
Seen, yes. And so I decided to really turn my focus into creating these small, so there's no more than 15 women on our trips that are specifically for women that are in midlife.
Hmm. And okay, but yours is, I feel, a little bit different than some of the other you can find, where you don't have a ton of agenda scheduled in, and you do that intentionally because why? Like, how have you seen that sort of unfold?
Yeah, so our trips are very unique and that they're not retreats. This isn't a retreat. Then a volunteer trip. This is not a mission trip. It's not going yoga or whatever. It's packed every single day. There's so much to do, but it's a super awakening, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
We're climbing up an active volcano and roasting marshmallows at the top of the volcano. We're riding in the back of a pickup truck to a rural farm and meeting the little coffee farmer where he's hands roast coffee over an open fire. We're dancing with Mayan women. We're riding in classic cars in Cuba with our hands in
Yeah.
the air and
Yeah.
it's convertibles. So the days are really packed, but it's not a retreat. It's not like we're opening up our journals. It's not like we're doing yoga.
Right. So it's
We're
like
just having fun.
experiential excursions. It's just all about experience.
Yeah, so I think the thing is, what's your name? Or what it's when you experience new things with a group of people that are so off the beaten path, you
Yeah.
just instantly have this bond. And we're women coming from different places all over the country. And because there's trips really geared towards seniors, right? You get on the big bus, you've got her, you have the person with the
Mhm.
flag, and then you've got like the touries trips where people are backpacking. And this is like neither. It's just right in the middle. You can bring your big suitcase, bring your big suitcase. We stay in cute little, but it's deeply cultural.
Right.
In every country, too, I work with a local partner there. So we're
Mhm.
having experiences that you find on
Not
Google.
touristy, right?
Yeah. And one of the things I think that's so neat is that in every country, we pick a project that we support that's sustainable. So, for example, a woman in Cuba, get a new roof. She was living on $5 a month, and it's having the rain come out and hearing rats above her head. And so, our group, went out and asked their friends. They gave generously, and we were able to give $5,000. And then when we were there, we got to go to her house. We got to meet her family. We got to hug her. And so it's moments like that where we're making a really big difference,
Mhm.
I think, or a
Directly.
big difference.
For one, yeah, a huge
One
one
person.
person,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah. So it's different from, we're not going to Cabo, we're not on the beach, we're
Right.
not, these are really special trips. And I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing, like when you think about unstuck, getting unstuck,
Right.
is that women, I feel like my best self on these trips. I feel so alive because I think the messaging to midlife women, and you'll have to tell me what you think, is get quiet, journal, do yoga, take a rest. But I think what we should be telling women in midlife is go have more fun.
Get out there. Yeah.
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 Do
Get
things
out.
that make you feel alive and excited
Mhm.
because I think that's the reason why women are like, yeah, my life is good, but like something's missing
Green.
is that feeling of I can't wait for it. Oh my gosh, the feeling where you're in the air and you're yelling, woohoo, like you just don't have moments in midlife.
Right.
You have so much routine. So I think that's why women love these trips so much because they come without their hats. They're not a
Right.
mom, they're not an employee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I think that's a really good point. I feel like I don't think anybody did as well as you just now, is that, yes, I think a huge part of feeling this stuck and wanting to get to the unstoppable isn't just the unstoppable isn't yeah, exactly. I just need to reflect more and I need to be more quiet and I need to just figure out how to be happy inside the life I'm living. No, the idea is how do we to finding that spark and then like really reigniting it so that our passion and purpose really is aligned together and is actively making a contribution or an impact. You're waking up every day and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I get to do today? And who are all the people that I get to impact and that I get to inspire and empower? And that's not a quiet, passive approach. And I think you hit head where at this point in our lives, like we actually do have a lot to give back. We have a lot of wisdom, we have a lot of experience, and we want to share it. And we've forgotten how. And I think your trips probably really stir that up and ignite that and remind the women that are on that trip, oh my gosh, I actually have so to contribute. And there's a lot of different ways that I can do that. And one of them is reconnecting with women, reconnecting with strangers, strange land, doing strange things. Like, what a fun way to get that spark. Have you found that? I'm sure I don't want to assume, but that there's a lot of women that you stay in touch with after these trips. Do a lot of them reoccur? Do you see a lot of the same women wanting to come back? Maybe not ever, but and how has it changed? What have they, any stories that you could share?
Yeah, it's women said these trips are addictive.
Oh, I'm
They're addictive
sure.
because that they make them feel like, yes, it's about the place, but it's more about how you feel
Right.
on this trip, I think. And so, yeah, back again and again. In fact, I'm offering like our normally off the beaten path places. We're going and Guatemala and offering this little mini pop up in Asheville, North Carolina. And I thought, oh, this will be a great thing for like women who've never been on my trips. And so far, everyone that signed up's been on a trip before because they're like, I want to see everybody and I want to feel, I always say it's the thing. They want to feel it again. They want to feel
Yeah.
that aliveness. And they do go on to be friends. In fact, a group of women in Wisconsin, they just went out dancing salsa together. I had two recently that were in Charlotte for different things with their family, and we met up because I think when you have
Yep.
fun in just 7 days, you're like instant friends.
Uh-huh.
So there is that. But I think the other thing that's been really cool is how moved people are. You can go easily, right? That you plan yourself or you have a travel agent and you can see all the sites. But
Mhm.
to go into people's homes,
Mm.
to see how people are living, I would say that's one of the most things we do. And I notice everyone's in tears, right? So they do go home. There were a group of women who, dogs of Guatemala, and they ended up raising thousands of dollars when they got back to help buy women stoves
Wow.
to help.
Yeah.
It's how inspired I think what you said
Yeah.
of, yeah, I can't
Can make a difference, even if it's in
make a
one person's
difference.
life. And I think probably the biggest difference of your trips are when you say they actually get to see the impact and the human connection, right? It's not just a donation. It's not just,
Right.
oh no, I money towards this cause. Like I think as women and as humans, we really crave real human connection
Yes.
and how and all the different it comes in. But certainly when it's a heart connection and truly improving somebody's life directly is really powerful. And it's
It
certainly
really is.
lasting.
Yeah, it is. And I think the other thing that's unique about is that there are volunteer trips. You could sign up and go with your church or whatever and spend 7 days. That's not for everyone. Me, I've tried it. It's not the best fit for me. But what makes these trips unique is that's a part of it. But we also, I say we have like deeply cultural experiences with pops of elevated moments throughout. So in Guatemala, amazing coffee farm that's been around for 150 years. It's a coffee plantation and we have a farm to table lunch with a chef from
Mhm.
Berlin, and she makes us botanical drinks and like incredible food. And so all of a sudden we go from the back of the pickup truck to like in our flower dresses
Right.
drinking cocktails. So I
So
think it's this
fun. Yeah.
up and down where you're not afraid to get a little bit dirty, but you're not afraid to put your dress on and everyone's cheering you on. And I think that's so cool. Like climbing the volcano, it's hard
Yeah.
But the women like, you've got this, you can do this. And one of the women that came on our trips, she had a heart transplant
My God.
and she had really had a hard stretch. And she
Yeah.
came on this trip. She got to the top of the volcano. And just the amount of pride that she could feel. I faced death. I am literally standing on top of a volcano in Guatemala.
Great.
Yeah. So there's so many moments like that are so
So
special.
awesome. Sign me up. I can't. Yeah, I think really it's so cool. It's such a unique way of doing women. I think it's such a, I'm so glad that you've created this and curated these trips for women in midlife. I feel like it is such a wonderful opportunity. If you're somebody in a transition or just in midlife and you're looking for a different type of adventure, a different type of vacation, different type of experience to participate in something, because I think it really has such a great opportunity to reignite ways of you've lost along the way. And it sounds like a really safe and nurturing environment to do so, with the upside of like you're knowing friends along the way. And isn't that well really great, true, deep, authentic, honest relationships that can carry us into this next chapter of our life?
Yeah, and I think it's also about reconnect, not in that, like I said, quiet spiritual way, which is great. And this is such
There's
an
always a
important
place for
piece.
that, right?
There's always a place for that, but it's the part of yourself. I'm sure you've heard women our age are like, oh, I used to be cool. I used to be fun.
Oh
Well,
gosh, yes.
but on this,
Wait,
I'm still cool
I'm still
and I'm
her.
still fun. And like, wow. Last time I was literally like, I think about the women in the back of the pickup truck riding up the side of this volcano and it's crazy and everyone's screaming, ah! And you just, how many moments at
Right,
this stage in your life do you feel like that?
right.
Whereas 20 years ago, you felt like that all
All
the
the
time.
time. Yeah, just sheer elation. Not knowing what's
Yeah.
going to happen, just super present in the moment, super excited. Yeah, it doesn't pop.
No, it
Yeah,
just doesn't. And
it doesn't.
it's interesting because at the end of the trips, I always ask everyone, what was your favorite thing? And for the Guatemala trip, that is every single person's favorite thing. And I'm like, they're like, oh dear God, let's just get there
Let's keep
safely.
everybody in the back of the truck. Hopefully nobody gets bounced out. Like,
Yes, exactly. I'm like freaking out. And then yet the women are like, that was my favorite
that was
thing.
my
And
favorite
when
part.
I reflected on it, it was just that. It was that exhilaration. Your blood is pumping. You're so excited. You're like,
Yeah,
oh my God, I've never done anything like this before. That you miss at this stage when
yeah.
you're just buried. I think
Yep.
you're 13. And part of what inspired me to start doing these trips and the way that I made it, like I said, with this kind of up and down of like very
Mhm.
cultural, you're in the Amazon and then you're in,
Pretty nice and clean, all the things.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, is I go on her who's 17 years younger than me. And since she was 18 years old, every year we take a crazy trip, whether we're staying in a treehouse in the Amazon, we're piranha fishing, we're doing all these things. And on that trip, I would feel so alive. I would feel so brave. It was like this young version of myself. Like I felt like this young version of myself on those trips. And I just realized I want other women to feel like that,
That.
to feel like that. And women would watch my trips with my sister and be like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And so now they can.
Now they
Now they
can.
can. They can sign up for these trips and they don't have to be like, oh gosh, I don't know anyone. Because the other great thing is that unlike most group trips, we guarantee a single room for every single woman.
Yes, that's right. That's super unique. That is
Yeah.
common.
Normally you have to share a room. And I don't know about you, but like at 40 something, I don't want to share a room with a stranger. I'm good.
Yeah, and that's part of the ease of the trip, right? It's like that we're gonna be doing all of the kind of like very cultural things, and we're also get to have like this really nice little posh plush aspect of it, which
Yes.
yeah, you're like I'm
Yeah, we stay at
yeah,
cute little boutique hotels, which I think again goes back and supports the community. We eat at great little restaurants. On one day, we're at a Mayan family's home in their yard, and they're like hand grinding corn for tortillas for us, and it's
right.
just as delicious. So, like I said before, it's so much more about the experience, is about the way that the women feel, and that they say, my soul was on fire.
It's perfect, actually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been really great. I think the challenge now is like, because like you said, we're in a lot of responsibilities. Okay, you can't go on every one trips, even though
right.
some of the women come close. How come home? That's the next challenge is how can I help women keep that fire alive because they crave it when they get
Right.
home. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't stop smiling. I feel so good. I feel more like myself than I felt in years.
That's
And
amazing.
how can we keep that going?
I would say that's where maybe other parts of my show come in because then they can find themselves a coach and figure out how that they can keep their purpose and alignment going through doing other personal work. So you're right, it's
Yes.
a great balance, but it would be so fun if you're just starting this adventure and this deep dive into your mindset shift and how to really realign your life in terms of how you want to live it and see your next chapter unfold. You could start with your trip and then you could hook up with one of these coaches and then you're like, bam, that's how you just keep it moving. And how many trips do you do a year?
So there's
So
another.
every quarter.
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
go every
you could
quarter
go every
if you
quarter.
probably had
Yeah,
less responsibilities, right?
yeah.
But I do have women at the women. She was on our trip in February and she's coming to our Greece trip in June. 2 in 1
Awesome.
year. She's also coming to the Asheville pop-up in September.
I mean,
So,
it's everything's possible. It just depends on how you prioritize. So really, it really is all everything's possible.
right.
You,
I think the other thing too is that you hear women, and I'm sure in your line of work, you hear this all the time. Women are like, oh my gosh, someday I'm going to do
yeah.
XYZ. I'm going to do
Yep.
the thing. And I can't tell you how many women say to me, oh my gosh, your trips look amazing. Someday I'm going to go on one of those trips.
And you're like, oh,
And
wait, do it, figure it out. Yeah.
when you take
Done.
that leap, first of all, you're so proud of yourself because you
Mhm.
took the leap. But then you go on something like this and you feel alive and it changes the way that you live when you come home.
It's true.
You show up better as a mom because you feel less resentful. Maybe you feel,
Yeah.
more like
You filled
yourself.
your cup. You filled your cup
Yes.
to
Yes.
yourself, which is the healthiest way to do it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times too, like just speaking to moms, I think we have this deep guilt about, oh, I don't know if I could leave my kid. Right? I
Mhm.
feel so guilty. But we have to remember that our kids learn by watching us. And then if we say to our kids, you can do anything, you can be anyone, you're
Mhm.
going to go out and you're going to conquer the world, but they watch us living small and not doing, that's their
That's what
takeaway.
we're modeling.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My
So it
mom's
just,
a martyr. We don't
yep,
want our daughter or to grow up to be a martyr. We don't want
no,
our sons to grow up expecting our wives to be
be
that way. We
martyrs.
want daughters that go out and live bold. We want
Right.
sons that say to their wives, go do the thing.
It's so true.
I feel like this is one of the great I can do for my kids is show them that I am so layered. I am so many
Yes.
things.
And that I'm worthy and that I can fill my cup on my own.
Yes,
That's how I get to do it. And then come back and tell
exactly.
them out all the amazing adventures. And
Exactly.
you're gonna blow their mind. So yeah, it's a win-win, but it's a script flip
Yeah.
and that coaching can help you with. So
Right. There you go.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Is to
Well,
let go of some of
it's to
that
let
guilt.
go. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Bree, I'm so glad you came on to join me
So glad to be here.
and share just wonderful opportunity. I am going to look at your options and sign up because it sounds so incredible and so inspiring. And I know that this is going to land for a lot of women, and I hope to see them there.
Yeah,
And
I do too.
it is an invitation. So get on board and get on over to somewhere sunny and
Yeah.
book your trip.
Great. And my website is
Be
besomewheresunny.com.
somewheresunny.com.
Yep.
I love
Yep.
it.
Facebook is Somewhere Sunny. Yeah. So great. I'm so glad to be here and I can't wait to dive into the other little episodes too.
Episodes.
It's such a
Yeah,
great
I
thing.
know it's
Yeah.
great. It's been great. I'm just so glad that you joined me, and I look forward to seeing you later this year.
Perfect.
Save me a spot. Save me a spot, okay?
Perfect. Will
All
do.
right. Thanks, Bree.
Thank you.